Hi friends, welcome back to my mini collage series. Today is day 3. We are going to do another mini collage in this little notebook. As I said in the first video, I don't know if I got this from Michael's or the Dollar Tree, Michael's craft stores for those not in the United States. Here's our first mini collage and our second, and I will link those in the description down below. You can see the elements that I have here for today's collage, including my favorite glue stick, Elmer's washable school glue. It goes on purple and dries clear. I also have a couple of adhesive rollers. One is from Tombow and the other is, I think it's pronounced Doris. I don't have a preference for either one of these. I just bought whichever was on sale at the time. I do, however, prefer permanent adhesives for my collaging. As I noted in my previous videos, I pre-cut my elements because I didn't think that me sitting here and fussy cutting something like this would be all that interesting, and it would make for a really long video. Alright, so let's get into it. We're going to be collaging over these 2 pages. I use little notebooks like this to keep track of things I need to do or things I've gotten done. I like to keep track of things I've gotten done because it gives me a little bit of motivation, although let's see, I don't see any really good examples of that in here at the moment. So let's get to collaging, shall we? We are going to do our backgrounds first. If you hear some noise behind me, that is the streetcar outside, public transportation. The air quality here is pretty bad today, but so far not quite as bad as the last few days, although my understanding is it's supposed to get worse later. I hope the air quality where you are isn't too bad. I hope that if you are in an evacuation zone due to fires or other reasons, that you are safe and that your family is safe. And if you or your family was affected by the tragic events 19 years ago on 9/11, today is the 19th anniversary of the World Trade Center disaster attack, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family as well. I do have a family member that was supposed to be in the towers that day, but through a series of events just missed being there, and I will be forever grateful for that. I'm not going to share his story though, because it's very personal for him and not my place to share that. A lot of people have been sharing stories today about where they were when they found out about the attacks on the World Trade Center. I was at home in the little 4-plex apartment that I shared with my son and his dad at the time. Oh my gosh, I'm having trouble gluing and talking at the same time. And my sister called me, and I had been asleep with my son, sleeping in, and she called and said, "Turn on the television right now." And like most of the United States and people in many other countries as well, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was horrible. It still is horrible. And my heart goes out to everyone and anyone that was affected by that tragic day. Yeah, so I don't know what else there is to say about that except hold your loved ones close. Because anything could happen at any time. You just really never know. Alright, so let's continue collaging, shall we? I know that I want some of these pieces to overlap. So when you have pieces that you want to overlap, it can be a little bit tricky because what do you glue down first? So what I like to do is I'm going to glue down part of this one, but not the whole thing. I am covering more of this little map than I would really like to do, but I think that's going to be okay. So actually, maybe I'll do this so it sort of straddles that. What do you think? I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I kind of like that. With this collage, like with my other two, I laid it out the night before and took a photo on my phone, but my phone battery is almost dead, so it's on a charger in the other room, because I didn't think forward to the fact that, hey, I could just plug it in right next to my computer and my camera. But that's alright. I'm going off of memory on this one. I don't have the photo I took yesterday of my plan, but it's alright. Crafting and creating art should be about exploring, and I'm doing this just for myself, so if I go off plan, it's not a big deal. And I want to encourage you to explore and play around, and don't be stuck to, oh, I have to do it exactly this way or it's ruined. That's not the case. You can create something amazing and go completely off plan. Just like with that little map right here, I didn't expect to do this, and I actually think it looks great. I think it looks better than my original plan. I'm gonna put this little VW van down. I think this van is so cute. I love the idea of van life. I love the idea of bus life, of tiny living. I think that would be an amazing way to explore my country as well as other countries around the world. I'm gonna put down this little word create. Some of these elements come from magazines like Thrive, Mantra Wellness, now I can't think of them. Flow magazine, that's a great one, and several others that are similarly designed and really, really pretty. They have amazing graphic design, amazing people working at them, and I love the content, but I also love the material that I find for my crafting. Alright, these ones I am being a little more careful with because I want to line these. I want to make sure that I see most of these palm trees, but I also don't want it going outside the edge of this little map. That is one area of this collage that I do want to be fairly precise with, but if I mess it up a little, it's okay. Like I said, this is just for me. I'm not doing this collage for anybody else. So I'm just gonna add a little glue here. I'm just gonna do it here. This purple glue dries clear, and I'm doing this just for myself, so if I add glue in spots where I don't need it, it's not that big of a deal. It'll dry clear, you won't really be able to see it unless you hold it up and sort of do this, and then you might see some of the gloss and shine, but I don't plan to do that. Alright, let's see. I might trim off just a little bit of the corner edge here. I love these scissors. I have 3 or 4 different sets of them. They are amazing. I will link them in the description for you. I might not link this exact pair, but I'll link the others that I have. I actually am not totally certain what brand these, oh wait, I do see what brand they are. EK Tools. I also have a pair from, actually 2 pairs from, oh gosh, what's the brand? Fiskars. They're amazing. They're so sharp. They cut like a dream. I've never had to sharpen them, and because the blade from the pivot point to here is less than, oh, I can't remember how many inches. I don't remember if it's 5 inches or 3 inches. You can take these on an airplane. They are TSA compliant. You can take it in your carry-on. And as a crafter, that is amazing. All right, let's get back to this. I want to make sure my palm trees look semi-straight. Don't need them to be perfect, just mostly straight. There we go. gonna glue down South America. Have you been to South America? If so, leave me a comment and let me know where you went. I've been to Buenos Aires in Argentina twice and loved it. It's right about there. I have a travel journal video that I did of one of my Buenos Aires trips that you can check out. I will put a description to that below. My first trip to Buenos Aires was with my uncle, and it was the last trip I ever took with him because he had a brain tumor and died from it later that year. My uncle was my best friend. He was my mentor. He was my confidant, and I miss him dearly, and I'm so glad that I was able to take that trip with him. It was really special and amazing. All right. This one's a little harder to get the glue on just because it's so skinny. Let's see how well we can get this down. All right. It's pretty close to where I want it. I'm not going to worry too much about it being fully straight, and you'll see why in a minute. All right, one last little element. I really like this little butterfly. I think this came from Thrive magazine, from an ad in Thrive magazine for some of the brand's other magazines, as well as that. Thrive magazine has amazing recipes. It's amazing photos of food. It's just a beautiful magazine. If you have any dietary restrictions or needs, I strongly suggest you check out Thrive. Lots of gluten-free, lots of dairy-free, lots of vegan options, and so on. I apologize if I've been sniffling. My allergies are crazy right now, as well as my asthma due to the air quality. But here is our collage for today. Create. I love travel. I always feel more creative after travel. I love to draw. As you can see from this collage, I just enjoy being creative. I like the idea of tiny living. I feel like anybody who lives in a van or a bus or a tiny house is inherently creative, because you can't live like that without being creative about your space and how you live. And I also think play is important. Travel involves a lot of play for me. Creating involves play for me. Finding creative new ways to live is play for me. And I feel like the butterfly, the greenery, the palm trees, the world maps, the van, the combi, all invoke that. And then the background with the mandala and the swirls, and I forget what these are called, but I think the whole thing's really pretty. Anyway, the reason I wasn't too concerned about this being too straight is because I can tell that I'm just a tiny bit over the edge here. So I'm just gonna trim the corners so that they match the rest of the little booklet. And I'm gonna trim the tiny little bit that went over this edge with my background. As I mentioned before, and I'll probably mention in every video, you don't need your art to be perfect. Don't let perfection stop you from creating. I've heard a really great quote the other day. I've heard variations of it, but perfect is the enemy of good. Perfect is the enemy of done. Perfect is the enemy of enjoying your life. Worry less about being perfect. Worry more about how can I make this enjoyable for me? What can I learn from this? What can I create here? How can I move forward with my life here? If it's not perfect and I want it to be, what is the lesson in that? What can I learn from that? And how can I apply it to other situations? Anyhow, there we go. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, hit the subscribe button if you want, and I'll see you next time. Bye.